Oh, CJ got another Pokemon generation list done. Has it been 3 years and a new gen announced already? Hahaha, you're cute. But yes, I had fun in the Alolan Sun, and now to get the list done. Anything to declare? I do. I haven't trained any of the Alolan forms, so, sorry about that. Alright, let's start it off!
10th place.
By the end of your journey, you're probably going to have a favorite bug type from the Alolan region. Gen 6's collection of the creepy crawlers was forgettable. Gen 7 gave us some inspiring insects, each one more unique than the last and the one that came before them. You basically can't go wrong with any of them. How fitting that my choice is already wearing the ribbon. Man, that was hard to say. My heart, it's growing! Yeah, there's a reason I don't feel bad putting it on here. It is both bug and fairy, making it the most adorable nightmare for dark fighting and dragons. The preformed Cutiefly can be caught very early on in the game, and once it becomes a Ribombee at level 25, it learns its signature move, Pollen Puff, which is too good to be true. It's a 90 base attack bug move that in a double battle can be used to heal your ally. You pretty much dominate the game after that, especially since its speed and special attack are nothing to scoff at. I do wish it had a deeper move pool, but with Quiver Dance, Dazzling Gleam, and either Energy Ball or Psychic, I'm not really allowed to complain. Just gotta watch out for Fire and Steel types. Not many times where you keep a bug you catch at the start of the game with you all the way through to the end, but with this one, exceptions are required. Fainted by cuteness? That's a good way to go, honestly.
9th place.
Unleash the power of the sun! I prefer the light to the darkness, and the majestic ambassador of the sun easily caught my attention. Yes, I have no idea why the Pokemon representing the sun is weak to fire. I mean, Steel and Psychic? Why Steel? Its signature move Sun Steel Strike looks like a giant fireball attack. The Z move isn't helping with that either. What part of this giant inferno of death screams, I'm a Steel Stab? Now obviously, we can't just ignore the role it has in the story. Little getting out of the small bag and into big trouble Nebby was the driving force of the whole game. Your adventure started by helping it, and then it returned the favor. Obviously I'm talking about Sun and not Ultra Sun. Giving you a connection to the legendary mascot of the generation better than any that had come before. The first Pokemon League in the Alolan region was built on the highest mountain in order to pay honor to Solgaleo and to get as close as they could to it. Way ahead of you guys! Solgaleo's speciality is its physical strength, and with moves like Sun Steel Strike that hit a target regardless of its abilities, Earthquake, Zen Headbutt, and Flare Blitz, it has little problems bringing its foes to their knees, even if they don't have them. I do have to question why its ability isn't something unique, or can absorb fire attacks because, you know, sun, and the only difference between full metal body and clear body are 2 words. But I guess 2 words are exactly what I would use to describe Solgaleo. Questionable and memorable.
8th place.
One of the most appealing things about Pokemon to me has always been the customization. Almost every RPG falls victim to only giving you a handful of characters for the whole game. At worst, Pokemon gives you a handful of team tryouts in every area. Most of the time, I try to look for a pocket monster that has good typing, solid stats, a practical ability, and can swim in a deep move pool. And this one lets you decide it all except the ability. Yet another man-made Pokemon, but unlike the more popular thoughts like Mewtwo and Genesect, it's not because they wanted to see how powerful they could make it. It was originally created to be the counter to an interdimensional potential threat. And that was when it was a type Null. Once a trainer gains their trust, they shake off their helmet and gain a new ability. Now when it holds onto a memory disc, it becomes a pure type of said memory, and its signature attack, Multi-Attack, is also based on the type of memory it's holding. From there on, Silvally is as good as you make it, including what stats you want to focus on, since it's even across the board. At first, I decided to give it the Grass memory. Shocking, I know, but I also gave it Sword Stance to power up. Flame Charge for a speed boost, and Rock Slide. The fun part is that Flame Charge and Rock Slide help cover nearly every weakness to grass types, which actually did work quite well, and given many of its other physical moves, it felt like the best pairing. which is kind of a disappointment since it can learn Flamethrower, Ice Beam, and Thunderbolt, but its signature move is physical based, and I normally focus on either the physical or special attack stat. I tried having Ice Beam, Flamethrower, and Workout, as well as a ground version that had Thunderbolt instead of Flamethrower, but the original idea I have for it usually turned out much better. Yes, it can learn the Elemental Bites, but they just aren't as impactful, you know? Bottom line, everything about Silvally's performance comes down to your preference and planning. Make it a good one, because one is all you get per game. Not counting the special downloadable gifts. And let me know what you've come up with in the comments. I'm open to new strategies, like the next entry.
7th place.
Thanks for introducing me, Fawful. I didn't expect something so powerful to look like this. When will I learn? It looks like a rock, because it is a rock from outer space! And it comes in 7 colors, not counting the shiny, with blue being my preference. This half rock, half flying, all power type packs some serious destructive damage, and then even more when you take off that armor. Before that, why not enjoy the fact that its shell prevents status effects like paralysis and sleep, and certain abilities won't work against it. Now, we can't always claim victories by playing it safe and hiding behind it the whole time, but we can play smart. Shell Smash needs to be your first move to use. You'll get some nice stat increases and recover from the downgrades with a white herb. Your opponent should start sweating at this point. Once Minior has taken enough damage, Shields Down activates, defense power goes into actual power, the speed is noticeably far better, and all bets are off. Imagine a meteorite falling to Earth, losing its outer shell while increasing momentum and power, and I feel sorry for anyone who would get in the way. With already powerful moves like Earthquake and Stone Edge, you should be able to knock them down, and if you taught them acrobatics and did the whole Shell Smash White Herb thing, they ain't getting a second wind. The only problems are Pokemon that force it to use the White Herb ahead of time. Basically any Pokemon that has a speed and type advantage, like Water and Electric, but that's normal, and I don't recall ever running into so many Pokemon using Roar than before I recorded footage for this. Best not to lead off with this guy, and use it when the coast is clear. Looks like we have a new terror in the skies, and after the horrible nerf that Talonflame got, it wouldn't surprise me if these guys were next in line. Better enjoy this cosmic cataclysmic power while we can.
6th place.
These two are near the top of performance in terms of what I like, with those nasty little cons getting in the way of true glory. Let me explain them one at a time. Tapu Fini doesn't really have much going for it in terms of lore and character development. Gameplay-wise anyways, I lost focus on the anime. It guards its islands with control over the water, and mostly appears in a thick fog, as if to let you know that someone is watching over you, even if you can't clearly see them. A guardian who only gives you a vague clue that it's there. And I really like that. It's a fairy and water type, and the main reason I have no interest in training a Primarina. Sorry, Poplio fans. Its defense and special defense are tight. It has a nice move pool like Hydro Pump, Ice Beam, Moonblast, Calm Mind, Shadow Ball, and Grass Knot. And the best part, its ability automatically makes a safeguard for anyone touching the ground. Along with a few other neat touches, it is unquestionably my favorite water type from the 4 islands of the Alolan region. But defense alone can't win a match. It needs time to use Calm Mind before it can really do anything. So leading off with it is probably a good idea so you can have a fair amount of time to stat boost, whereas the other one comes out of the Ultra Ball swinging. Tapu Koko is the sweeper class of the 4 fairies looking over the Alolan Islands. The mixture of electric and fairy removes its big weakness to steel types, much like the previous one, and its ability increases electric attacks, and those not in the air can't fall asleep. While Tapu Fini looked more gentle and passive, Tapu Koko looks more confident and aggressive. Yeah, they are easily my favorite designs of the 4 Guardians. That said, its glaring issues come from stat mix-ups and the moveset lineup. Its attack is naturally higher, but it doesn't have a fairy stab, and the best attacks would require it to hurt itself. The special attack has safer options, but it's naturally lower in power, and you're pretty much left to have Thunderbolt, Dazzling Gleam, and Grass Knot by obligation. Still, its fast and powerful stats work very well with a Z-move, Gigavolt or Guardian, whichever you prefer, and who could forget the role it has in the story? There's a reason most people might have trouble remembering the other Tapus, since this guy will make you remember its name. It also protects those it believes are worth protecting, but if you take it off, it'll become quite malevolent. These two kind of feel like two sides of the same coin to me, so I hope you're okay with me not wanting to split up a good coin.
5th place.
This part hurt me the most to write. mainly because I had to force myself to choose between the adorable Rowlet and the respectably wicked Decidueye. I was going to have another tie, but sadly I was able to make a decision, and I still don't like it, but I can't argue with it. Yeah, adorable didn't beat awesome in this round, and that was sadly all I had to write about when it comes to the lovable little owl. It's cute! That's obvious! And that was all I could think of! Could I really spend 2 minutes making aww noises? I mean, I could, and I'd be justified, but that's just lazy. Please don't give me that look, guys. Decidueye, on the other hand, has quite the amount of depth to it. It's one thing to make it an ace archer that can pretty much pluck, aim, fire, and nail in a tenth of a second, but its typing has some meaning to it. It went from grass flying to grass ghost. It died? Remember, this is Pokemon. They're born as ghosts. It's more likely taking on the form of the Alolan lore, Amakua, Ugmaka, Amakua. Pass. Its appearance is loosely based on the Stilt Owl, which also lived in Hawaii but sadly became extinct. The ghost thing is really making a lot of sense now, huh? In fact, its signature move is based on ghost, not grass. Spirit Shackle prevents the opponent from switching out and can be used with its signature move, Sinister Arrow Raid. It's also got some pretty good moves as well, such as Leaf Blade, Sucker Punch, and Low Sweep. I just wish they did 2 things with it. 1, take some of that special attack stat and raise another one. Its attack stat is already higher, and its signature move basically demands this stat, so why? And 2, still would have liked to have seen it in Smash. They're not the same! That what if still pains me every time.
4th place.
Sun and Moon introduced trainers and masters alike to a whole new level of power. Being so strong, the Earth cannot give them a proper home. Yup, it's finally time to talk about the Ultra Beasts. Most of them excel in one stat or another, and are as devastating as they are silly. Case in point, Kartana. Looks like origami, right? Well, a paper cut from this guy is like getting an amputation. And you know what's worse? I really want to hug it, but I don't want it to be the last one I ever give. When it comes to the offensive side, Kartana's on the tip of the edge, and every victory just sharpens it even more thanks to the Beast Boost ability. It's a grass and steel type with the highest attack power of both types. Fantastic defense, but the lowest special defense of any steel type, and HP that leaves a lot to be desired. So even an Ember attack from a non-stab fire type could obliterate this guy. But if you give it Focus Sash to hold, it'll be the one doing the obliterating. And it's got some strong solid moves such as Leaf Blade, Sacred Sword, Psycho Cut, and it can learn Smart Strike from a TM, giving it a never miss decent steel stab attack. It also helps that it's pretty fast. It uses its near weightless body to nimbly move around, as sharp as a steel sword and as fragile as a blade of grass. It's as poetic as it is literal.
3rd place.
And now, history kind of repeats itself. In the Kalos list, I had a 10th place that got knocked off in favor of Goodra that shot up to 6th place, and while it isn't entirely the same, recent events have caused almost similar results, meaning that another candidate was knocked off. Sorry, Crabominable, you traveled with me on my first Alolan journey. Your typing is amazing with no double disadvantages, and you can learn great moves that go along with your ice fighting types. But your speed is very poor, and your special defense can make you an easy target. And yet, you probably could own the guy who took your spot. Or not. That's another dual typing curiosity I've been wanting to see crossed off my list. Dragon and fighting. Keep those scary fairies away from me. I'm still a bit surprised that this was the design they wanted to go with. Clanging Scales. Also the name of its signature move. So is it supposed to be a wordplay for Komodo Dragon and Commotion? Is that just for the English name? Did the localization get lucky with that? Probably. I didn't think much about this guy the first time I went through the region, even after training one. Then I caught a Kommo-o on my journey in Ultra Sun, and it instantly became a Kommo-o, and with its new Z-powered move, it quickly climbed the list. It gets on here because of a Z move? How cheap can you be? It's a base attack of 185 that raises all of your stats. What's your argument now? Do you hear that? Sounds like victory to me! This move is practically responsible for decimating the Ultra Sun's battle tree almost entirely on its own. It jumped from 10th to 6th to 3rd, and even almost took 2nd place. That is one heck of a promotion! It's also thanks to this guy that the battles between Mega Mewtwo X and Ultra Necrozma were some of the easiest I've ever battled against. What? What? You didn't really think it was the one doing all the work, did ya? It's also one of the very rare occasions that I give a Pokemon both physical and special attacks, because that's how it has to work. I'm just surprised that its attack power isn't its strongest stat. I mean, dragons are powerful, and most fighting types are powerful, so... Ah well, we'll just say balancing blah 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 and move on to the next entry.
Second place.
I think I've made it pretty clear that unless the Pokédex mentions something about the Pokemon being heroic, then to me it's Mumbo Jumbo written by Mumbo Jumbo. Well, I have to make an addendum. If the description has something that is just morally wrong, then I don't want to be associated with it. I will not be an accessory to you, body hoarder. I can't say what you are to a younger audience. And as for you, you lonely cosplay... Oh, wait, I actually like you. Nope, couldn't do it. Couldn't be the one guy that says that they don't like it just for the sake of resisting and standing out. Mimikyu has too much going for it to be passed up. Sure, when I first saw it, I was thinking, that's just sad, Game Freak. Then I actually read its backstory and said, that's just sad, Game Freak. You know the saying, if looks could kill? Guess who lives that nightmare every day? What does it really look like under that sheet? Well, I'm not dying to find out. But the allure of mystery and pity is definitely one of its compelling forces. Question, if a Mimikyu looks under the cloth of another Mimikyu, will it die of shock? Is that how you really kill a ghost? What's even more sympathetic is when you stop to think about how much worse it was for them 20 years ago. Until the popularity of Pikachu, these guys pretty much stayed in solitude and loneliness for practically their whole existence on this planet. They probably couldn't even be recorded in the Pokédex back then because who would survive to record it? You'd think something like that would make them part Dark-type, but all they want is to be able to make friends. That little nature makes a second typing of fairies seem much more fitting. It does a lot to keep up appearances. If the costume breaks, it waits till its trainer is asleep so you can't see it fixing it up. And have you read the other entries? Its neck is broken after all that hard work it did to fix it. Oh, it's fine, it's just feeling very sad. Now, if its sob story didn't get you, then wait till you see what this little guy can do. I mean, yeah, taking off its costume to win would be OP and banned, but it doesn't need to resort to something that cheap. Except for the Z move, maybe? The ability Disguise lets it get away scot-free from one hit. Yeah, the Mold Breaker Pokemon and multi-hit attacks probably won't pay attention to it, but other than that, it's a must-have. For my little horror buddy, I give it Shadow Sneak, Play Rough, Swords Dance, and Leech Life. I'm pretty sure I don't need to explain why building stats with a free hit along with a priority speed move and a high HP stealing attack is a good idea. I kinda wish I could give it a different costume, but it's basically everything I wanted Pikachu to be. Depth, lots of battle options, and something not overrated. At last, we've reached the top, but the one up here to greet us might not have been the one you were expecting. Hope you didn't think we were done with the Ultra Beasts, because I couldn't love just one. We've already seen Kartana, but for my pick of the strange and strong, as well as my champion of the Alolan region, it's gotta be... festive. It's Christmas every day with this Pokemon! Just look at it! What do you see? To me, it's nothing more than Christmas lights with a star on top. And I think it's got a bit of a playful personality to it. Look at the way it just shakes its cords. And the way it just dances around the mountain. How could you just not want to stare at this? When I first caught one, the last part of its name was throwing me off. White Tree. Then I said it out loud and felt stupid for not getting it right away. Xurkitree. Like Xurkitree. Man, I'm dumb! Normally, we get a Pokemon whose design process is slap some googly eyes on an object, give it some scary stats, and boom! Crybaby fuel! This time, they didn't even bother with the eyes. I mean, can you imagine if they did? Thank the good lord they didn't. Now the final design looks way better, huh? In the previous gen, electric types felt shunned. This time, I'd say they got a little more attention, and he's the star. How do you like my bad pun? Well, you know what's not terrible? That special attack stat. It can reach 489 starting off, and it doesn't even need a Mega Stone. And as if the Beast Boost ability wasn't scary enough, Tail Glow gives it a power level that almost nothing can withstand, along with Thunderbolt for stab, Energy Ball for ground types, and Signal Beam or Dazzling Gleam for extra coverage. If you're not ready to tangle with this mess of wires, lights out. And that'll do for this list, and if you have a difference of opinion, I'd like to hear who your 10 favorite Pokemon from the Alolan region are. I'm keeping these lights up all year round. Hey guys, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm really looking forward to Sword and Shield so I don't have to use the camera to record footage for lists like this anymore. Maybe I'll actually be able to get the Gen 8 list out sooner than 3 years. So let's hope that happens, and I'll see you in another video. Later, everyone!